hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30. And they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot.
We're going back 35, 40 years in time. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson has been canceled for this afternoon. Instead, 4 random episodes of Cheers. 2 with Woody Harrelson behind the bar, 2 with the old man behind the bar. It's Cheers next. Mr. Drew Brees, La Jolla, California. The Kenner of San Diego. Number 9, please. There he is. We were looking for that. Thank you, number 9. Thank you, Mr. Drew Brees. Yeah, La Jolla, the Kenner of San Diego. Sure it is. Corey Johnson back at you. Yeah, you right, on a Tuesday afternoon. That summertime heat. She's rolling on into the area lately. I think we're pretty much on the brink of being locked and loaded till around October. We'll get a reprieve around October. See you then, everyone. Have a great summer. I'm one of those rich, affluent types. Been around for decades, over a century. Come Memorial Day, we beeline to our summer home up north. We'll be back around Labor Day-ish. Ideally, leave a few weeks before Memorial Day, like already be gone. Maybe a mid-May, early May departure, and return back to the city sometime around mid-October. That's pretty good living. If you can afford it, summertime, we are on the brink. You know what that means when we're on the brink of summer? It's usually May, and if it's May, that means on this program, our Humane May fundraiser. That's right, if you're checking us out on the radio, Oh So Fine, 93.9 FM. Oh So Fine, 93.9 FM. 93.9. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 600 AM from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida. CoreyTalks.com live streaming. We're on YouTube right now. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. It's free. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on TV, the first 90 minutes of the 2-hour talk radio program on television. Cox Channel 4 television statewide. Spectrum Channel 333 television statewide. No matter how you're checking out the program, our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now, and we need your help right now. This thing ends a week from tomorrow. The last day in May is already upon us, a week from tomorrow. 8 days left in this fundraiser, but just a handful of days left on air promoting it. We're like 75% in, and as far as time, and we've raised about half that much percentage-wise, 30-something percent of the funds raised. We're about a third of the way home as far as cash raised, maybe $3,500 of the $10,000 goal, and we're about 75% into the month time-wise. So we really need your help. Please step up right now. Let's save some cats and dogs, some kittens and puppies. HumaneLA.org is the website. You use a debit card, ATM card, credit card. $5, $10, $20. Your donation is what makes the difference. How we get over the top, how we save hundreds of animals, cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, goats, horses, animals being neglected, animals being abused right now, this very moment in Louisiana. Jeff Dorson and the Humane Society of Louisiana, they step up, treat animals right, save animals' lives. Please donate right now so they can do that. HumaneLA.org. That's the website, HumaneLA.org. You'll see me laying like on the sofa under a blanket with Blue Boy. Click on that. I'm out there with Tolly, Sparky, a bunch of my animals, my pets, my buddies, my friends, my pals. They'll have a donate box. I think immediately it throws up $35. You can change that number, less, more, $50, $100. We need your help. Next Wednesday is it. HumaneLA.org. Please donate right now, HumaneLA.org. Old Junket Cantrell, I was a few weeks off. I said by the end of April for sure. And I said out of the country, out of the Western Hemisphere. I said like Europe. But then I said, you know what? I'm thinking more of like the Middle East or Asia. And that is exactly what happened. Just a few weeks late, Junket Cantrell attending a climate change expo in South Korea. Who wouldn't want to go on one of those types of trips? You go to South Korea, it's a trip you remember the rest of your life. I remember when Ray Nagin was in trial, I believe they were asking about some junket he went on in Hawaii and helicopter flight by the waterfall, and Nagin says he doesn't recall that. I don't know, unless you fly by private jet and you've been to Hawaii 50 times, I'd say 99.99999% of the population is going to remember a trip to Hawaii, flying in a helicopter by a waterfall. Anyway, I'll never forget Nagin not remembering that trip. These are all insanely memorable trips. They're off the charts for 99% of the population. They're very rare or never will happen for 99% of the population, especially the average New Orleanian. Now, Junket Cantrell knows the score. She knows it's going to be precarious times after her second term is up as far as income for her, lifestyle change. Homosexuality, not a lifestyle choice. The mayor, no funds, maybe not a lifestyle choice where she's headed. No, the nonprofit gig, heading up a nonprofit, still the most likely landing spot for Mayor Cantrell. But she kind of screwed that up by diverting over $1 million of Wisner Fund money, New Orleans' taxpayer money, to one of her nonprofits. That was exposed by the Office of Inspector General. That $1 million+ was returned to the Wisner Foundation Fund. So the mayor knows my 15 minutes is up soon. I have to maximize this. Fine dining, driving around in a city SUV with lots of police protection and people opening the doors for me like I'm royalty. Taking this mayor thing to the ultimate level. Lots of ways to handle it, to be mayor of the city of New Orleans. Grind and work and drive yourself around and don't worry about being the mayor. Just get the job done. Or the exact opposite. Live it up. Take that title and run with it. That includes lots of junkets. That includes a lot of junkets. And with the essentially a 2+ year coronavirus pandemic that definitely put a rock in that shoe, a thorn in that side, to say the very least, to shut down the junkets.
No, Cantrell has to double down. I was a few weeks off, but I was right on an international junket. I was right on the Middle East or Asia. She is the only mayor in the United States at this climate expo in South Korea. Obviously something that you could do via Zoom. You can watch it. You can participate. Any and all of these conventions you see, there's huge TV screens that are put up and lots of members that are participating via Zoom chat, that type of Cisco WebEx, that type of thing. But Junket Cantrell, I got to get to South Korea. When will this opportunity ever present itself ever again in my lifetime, especially in about the next 2.5 plus years after I'm, no longer the mayor of the city of New Orleans. Crawfish season winding down at your Rouse's Markets. Live crawfish by the sack, Rouse's Market. Hot from the pot, ready to eat, steaming hot crawfish, Rouse's Market. Best quality, best price, best selection. Get them while they're here still. Crawfish, Rouse's Markets.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Welcome back, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you on a Tuesday afternoon. Seems like summertime is here. Hey, don't forget about our fundraiser, trying to raise $10,000 in the month of May for the Humane Society of Louisiana, trying to save cats and dogs and kittens and puppies. Go to the website, humanela.org, and you can donate right now, humanela.org. New Orleans Councilman Joe Giarusso joins us on the program again. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, Corey. Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks for joining us. Glad you're doing good. What's going on with the council? Grinding away?
Well, we had a council meeting on Thursday, so it's always interesting right before we get to council meeting. And we have some things to vote on when it comes to budget and trying to get everything up and running the right way. And, of course, looking at all the quality of life issues that affect people in the city.
What's the goal kind of like as a council person? Do you sometimes think of other cities and what their councils do, effective cities? Is it, hey, man, under my watch, I want to make sure Microsoft announces 1,000 jobs are coming to the city? Is it things of that nature? What is the goal of a council person and or the council as a whole?
Well, I hope the first goal is just to be responsive to your residents, particularly if you're a district council member. Look, I came in with a number of lofty ideas and things I wanted to accomplish, but over several years, I realized people just want to know that you care about them and that you're responsive and you're trying to solve their problems. And then directly to your question, I think, first, there's your lived experience where you say, I've watched this, I've seen how it's functioned, there's got to be a better way to do it. And then, secondly, sometimes you're just lucky and a business or something decides that it wants to relocate in your district or close to your district because of the right opportunity that aligns. And believe it or not, there is a little, you use Microsoft, there's a little Microsoft outpost on Oak Street right now. So they needed space for 10 people and they just liked the area and they thought it was cool. And so they're there. And then
is that in Exile you're talking about?
That's Exile. That's exactly right. So that was serendipity. And then, you look at what other places are doing. And a lot of times too, we say, and I've heard Representative Hilferty say this before, you look at the other surrounding parishes, and if they can do A or B, then can we be in the same boat to do those too? So it's a combination. I think it's your lived experience. I think you're watching best practices. It's watching what the surrounding parishes are doing and keeping in constant communication with those folks to see how you can best serve your residents.
New Orleans City Councilman Joe Giarusso is with us for a few minutes. Joe, you got me fired up a few weeks back, 10 days ago or so. I mean, in our lifetime, Joe, even longer than we've been around, Lincoln Beach has been shuttered over 60 years. Pontchartrain Beach now, over 40 years, like closed. And I'm not talking about bring back the amusement park. We have an office park there called the Beach by UNO, the UNO office park. I'm talking about the physical beach where you can't go to the beach, you can't enjoy the lake. That's over 40. West End now is approaching 20 years of being dormant, of not being there. No Brunnings, no Fitzgeralds. Almost 20 years, going back to Katrina. Finally, at least some talk. I'll love some walk too. I'd love to see something happen there, but at least some actual talk about West End Park.
Yeah, look, I think the hard part has been, to your point, it's been fallow, where the restaurants, and you had Jaegers out there, Swanson's, Fitzgerald's, and Bruning's, all of these places at one time. And so I think some people lost some of that muscle memory, even though it had been there for 80 years beforehand, and kind of don't want much to happen. But I'm not in the same place, and I think most of the residents aren't either, which is, look, this was a vibrant, fun destination for families where you could recreate, both in the sense of having fun, partying, going out there with your kids, biking, walking, whatever the case may be. And you just don't get that by having nothing there. The other thing, too, is it's one of the crown jewels. You just talked about the 3 different beaches, whether it's Lincoln Beach or Pontchartrain Beach or West End. We have waterway. It is our natural low-hanging fruit. And for us not to build around it where we had those type of operations and amusements for such a long time just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. It's totally irrational. It's sinful. You know, you have places that would cut off their left arm to have a body of water. And there are places that make canals and waterways and lakes in their cities, man-made, and make them viable out of nothing. So it's sinful behavior, and it's economically unsound. I mean, we have this river and this lake. We have maybe 1,000 people in the whole metro that live on it. You know, there's something wrong with that. West End Park should be boat slips on the bottom, the restaurants on the first floor above the water, law offices, real estate office, whatever, like on the floor above that, and a bunch of condos and apartments. Maximization of that space, of that area, where all of New Orleans benefits. It's just, I don't know how we ignore a place for 20 years now almost.
Yeah, look, I understand because of Katrina, and frankly, at the beginning, rebuilding the city was the first priority. And then, Corey, look, this has been complicated by the fact that, A, you have 3 different entities that have ownership interests in there. So the state, Jefferson Parish, Orleans. And then, B, you've got to get all of those people who are involved on the same page. The good news now is the state has leased the water bottoms to Jefferson and to Orleans. The 2 parishes have been in active communications about all of it. And I think your last point is exactly right, which is, look, we want to deliver services, we want to do things for people, but also we want to have a place where people can have fun and enjoy themselves. And look, we know sometimes New Orleans can be tough and you got to roll with the punches that you have, but here you have a chance to have retail, have recreation, make an economically advantaged place where the city as a whole can prosper. And I just think we want to make sure that you can combine both of those things. They're not necessarily mutually exclusive. You can have fun and help bring revenue into the city and make sure we're using this to the best of our ability.
No, and this selfish mentality we often see. The neighbors behind the Havana Outpost for a decade on Esplanade, the No Havana Outpost signs. For 10 years fought Sean Meenan to stop that blight from becoming something that pays tax and is back in commerce. It finally happened. He won that fight. We've seen it before, other projects around the city where the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. Folks that embrace blight, scared of change, like things where they live exactly where they are. I mean, at Langsfeld Loft, a surface parking lot, supposed to be the Tresage condo tower. 2 crafty lawyers don't want their view obstructed. They sue and bankrupt 3 different companies trying to build that tower over like a decade. It's just that. I'm all for folks being able to protest something. You're a council person, Joe. You get to hear it all the time. You want input from the citizens. You don't want them stifling growth and the economy. And that happens entirely too much in New Orleans and West End Park. I want to hear from the citizens, but not wanting any change, nothing there, but nothing, that's unacceptable.
Well, I agree with that. And I think you made two good points. One is there's always a headwind against change. And the good news here is West End from 1905 or 1908 through Katrina was a very commercial area. So for anybody who wants to argue this is new and we're not familiar with it, that's just wrong. And there's a rich history of having amusement and restaurants and bars in that area. But whatever the public wants there is what will drive the decision making as we come next. And to your second point, Corey, I think it's a really good one. I never, ever have a problem with somebody who has a question. And on almost any development, you can be assured traffic, noise, parking are going to be the holy trinity of what people are concerned about and how do you get over those humps. Okay, let's talk about all of those and how do we fashion a plan that works best. But to your point, there are a usually small but very loud group of people who insert roadblocks. And that's the difference for me. If you want to be part of the democratic process and you want to talk about what should go there, ask questions, push back because you have concerns, I get that. But when you have roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and it's because you're claiming it's going to be all of these things that it might not, or moving the goalposts after you've made arrangements, then you're just being an obstructionist because you don't like something.
Hey, Joe, we've got about 20 seconds. Public-private partnership, just get it set up for a private individual to come in and lease it and approve of the project. What kind of timetable are we looking at? About 20 seconds.
I think we're looking at about a year overall, and that's because we have a company that's investigating everything that's going to happen. We also have to work with Jefferson Parish. They have new elections coming up. Until those elections are over, we won't be able to move forward.
Great. Hey, Joe, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Corey. Take care.
Joe Giarusso, New Orleans City Councilman, on the program with us. Corey Johnson with you. Fading into summertime, Tuesday afternoon. 20 plus years of dormant West End Park. Enough's enough. Let's go, New Orleans. Let's go. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benchmore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now.
Blue boy.
In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
In 25 short minutes, less than 25 minutes, Fausto's Italian Bistro opens their doors for a second time today. This time for dinner. They'll go 5 till 9 p.m. Now, I'm telling you right now, it's hot outside. But at like 7:30 when I'm walking Tolly in the neighborhood, there's a nice breeze. It's not a hot breeze. That's coming soon. I'm not saying it's like cold air conditioned, but it's not a hot, humid breeze. It's nice. Sun setting. It's nice outside. No, outdoor dining at Fausto's Italian Bistro. Still can get away with that. I scooped up a po' boy from Dom Alisi's in Uptown today. I guess the downtown side of the building was shaded from the sun. You know, it's about a 15-minute wait for the sandwich. So I'm standing outside just to get it from inside of Dom Alisi's. And there were people eating outside. I was in the shade and the breeze was blowing. I was like, I could eat my po' boy outside. I would not be sweating. It's right there. We're right on the edge where outdoor dining still can happen. Like tonight at Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. White tablecloth outdoor dining at Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian at Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Or dine inside air-conditioned dining room, sit at the bar. Check out the NBA playoffs. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Lunch Monday through Friday. They go from 11 to 2:30, Monday through Friday. Dinner Monday through Saturday. Dinner Monday through Thursday, 5 to 9, like tonight. Friday and Saturday night, they go till 10 p.m. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. So good. Humane May fundraiser ends a week from tomorrow. 8 days left. 75-80% of the time in the books. We've raised about 35% of the funds, about $3,500 of $10,000 raised. We're way behind. We need your help. Please go to the website right now, humanela.org. Humanela.org. Go to that website right now and donate. humanela.org. Trying to save cats and dogs, kittens and puppies. Junket Cantrell attending a climate change expo in South Korea. It is mind-blowing. Just brazen, very entitlement mentality, that type of attitude. There's just kind of like not a lot of honor or pride or integrity. Just, the hell with this, the hell with what people think. I'm going to take what I can get away with taking. They elected me mayor, and I'm going to go on these trips, and the city's going to pay for them. Plus, is there anyone else on planet Earth outside of a politician on a taxpayer finance vacation that would go from New Orleans to South Korea for 5 days, for 4 days? Those are the kind of trips where minimum a week, if not 10 days to 2 weeks, because the travel and the jet lag is so brutal. You land, it takes you a day and a half just to get acclimated, just to kind of get your head on straight. You're not up at 3 a.m. wandering the streets wide awake. You're not sleeping at 3 p.m. It's not easy. That's why you don't go for 3 days, unless you're LaToya, the Destroyer Cantrell. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to take advantage of this. I am Junket Cantrell. And South Korea, as the only mayor in the country, this is by definition something you easily Zoom. No, Junket Cantrell attending the Climate Change Expo in South Korea. Tens of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money. I'm sure some of her flunkies are going as well. 2, 3, 4 from her office attending as well. Tens of thousands of dollars. Reportedly, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he will go on Twitter tomorrow at 5 p.m. and announce his run for president of the United States. He'll do it during some question and answer Q&A segment with Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter. Tomorrow, Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, will make it official in about 24 hours. In a little over 24 hours, Ron DeSantis throws his hat in the ring, running against the Trumpster, running against Joe Biden, trying to get the Republican nomination first, and then a presidential election victory second. Ron DeSantis to run for president of the United States. The trips to Iowa, all the national attention, obviously expected. What clearly was not expected, Donald Trump's continued dominance in the polls, continued ownership of the polls. There are some polls where Trump is up on Ron DeSantis by 25, 35 points. It's crazy. It's crazy. You figured a lot of Republicans would be like, first off, is there any Republican anywhere that thinks Ron DeSantis is going to have any kind of significant ideology or something he's going to push, some agenda item that he's going to push that is going to be, I almost want to say any different at all in the least bit from Donald Trump? And I guess because he's a different person, there'll be something in the least bit different from Donald Trump, but not too much. Conservative, Republican, that ideology. DeSantis is kind of a populist, to say the least, like Trump. I don't see a lot of difference in, Trump feels this way and DeSantis is the opposite. This isn't Republican, Democrat. These are two Republicans. I'd say they're going to vote the same, not 9 out of 10 times, not 19 out of 20, probably around 49 out of 50, 97, 98, 99% of the time, they're going to vote exactly the same. And I just figured folks were going to be like, Donald Trump would be president right now over Joe Biden if it weren't for the Twitter stuff and the kind of caustic attitude, always having to get on social media, always having to get the last word in, always having to have a comment, always having to have an opinion. if Trump wasn't on Twitter, if Trump wasn't so caustic, he'd be president right now. No one voted for Joe Biden. They just voted against caustic, Twitter-impaired Donald Trump. DeSantis seems like the perfect elixir. Everything Trump has, younger, 20 years younger, and doesn't have the baggage, doesn't have the insecurities, the egomaniacal attitude, but none of that has happened. I mean, I'd say the opposite. DeSantis is getting as much traction as almost a Democrat would against Donald Trump. It's amazing. DeSantis to announce he's running for president tomorrow afternoon on Twitter. Hey, every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. River City's Total Maintenance, your air conditioning outfit in Metro New Orleans and beyond. That's all you need to know. 3 big things about air conditioning companies. I want an honest crew, a crew that has integrity and honor, that's not going to lie to me, that's not going to do some service, repair, replacement that is not definitively needed. So to be fully honest, you have to be air conditioning experts. That's another key. Honest. Air conditioning experts, folks that know the business, are going to diagnose the problem correctly, quickly, right away. Do it right. And then I want an air conditioning outfit that comes immediately. It's like, feels like 90-something outside. Summer is essentially here. We're right on the brink of it. We don't get relief till October. Your AC goes out, no relief until it's running again. Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys realize this, so they come immediately. Honest. Air conditioning experts that come immediately. That's what you want, and that's what you get with Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River City's Total Maintenance. Find them online, NOLAAC.com. 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 Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. AC problems? NOLAAC.com. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser continues until Wednesday of next week. A week from tomorrow, 8 more days. We need to raise about $6,500 in 8 days to reach our $10,000 goal. We're way behind. Please go donate right now. Let's save some animals. HumaneLA.org. You can make a difference. You can literally save animals' lives. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org. Corey Johnson with you. New Orleans City Councilman Joe Giarusso just joined us talking about the potential of West End Park coming back online. It's about time.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, WoodhouseSpas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here.
delivering Louisiana's future. At the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org. Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a very summer-like hot Tuesday afternoon in New Orleans, mid to late May. Fading towards summer. There's no way out until October. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser going on, trying to raise $10,000 this month. Please go donate right now, humanela.org. Trying to save cats and dogs, kittens and puppies. Save lives, treat cats and dogs humanely. humanela.org. Let's hit that goal. humanela.org. Junket Cantrell attending a climate change expo in South Korea, bragging that she's the only U.S. mayor there. Yeah, I guess so. Most are probably doing a Zoom meeting, if checking it out at all. But Junket Cantrell getting in another international trip. Did I nail this last month? Patting myself on the back. I was a little off. I said by the end of April. This was like late March, so almost 8 weeks ago. I was like, the mayor's due for a junket. This Miami trip, the Los Angeles trip, the New York trip in the United States. Those 3 trips over the last 2 months. Major junkets, tens of thousands of wasted dollars. Not a single dollar, not a single job coming to the city. Never, ever. The mayor never even mentions that because she knows there's nothing, no results. It's like hiring a salesperson and they never sell anything. You'd fire them. Just no results. The mayor knows it. She doesn't even come to the boss's office and say, make up stories. I think I got one on the line. I might be able to lure them in. Doesn't even BS. Just goes on the junket. Not a dollar coming in. Not a job created. Zero, none, ever. Dozens and dozens of national and international junkets. Now, I said back in March, before April's up in the next 4 to 6 weeks,
the mayor's due for an international junket. Now, I even said, out of the Western Hemisphere, I even said, it could be Europe, but I'm thinking more Middle East or Asia. And even said, Middle East, not as many destinations that are accessible, that are easy, that are as coveted as maybe some Asian destinations, maybe not as exotic as and as accessible as some Asian destinations. Even said that, leaning towards that. Out of the United States, out of the Western Hemisphere, probably not in Europe, Middle East or Asia, leaning towards Asia by the end of April. The only thing I was wrong about, the end of April, took a few extra weeks, just a few extra weeks. Like I was about 3 weeks off, but I was right about Asia, South Korea to be exact. And the mayor's doing what only someone on someone else's dime would do, going for like 4 days. Going for 4 days. No one anywhere travels that much travel time, that much jet lag, that many days at the destination to get adjusted. No one anywhere. Two types of people. Folks that own big businesses. They're working like a multi-million-dollar deal, tens of millions of dollars. You need to get on the flight first thing in the morning. You need to get over there. We don't care what the flight costs. We don't care if it's first class or not. You need room to do some of your project, get 2 first class seats. Cost doesn't matter because there's 50 million on the line. There's hundreds of millions on the line. That's one type of person that'll book last minute trips. Remember, the mayor booked her Amsterdam flight 3 days out. It was $18,600 just for the flight. And then in Amsterdam for 3 days. No, the only people that book late, don't care what it costs, and or go on an international trip where jet lag definitely comes into play, where you're traveling for like an entire day. Only business people with hundreds of millions on the line, or a politician on a junket. Someone else paying for the trip. Hell yeah, I'll go to South Korea for 4 days. Are you kidding me? Someone else is paying for the flight, the hotel room. I'll deal with the jet lag. I'll deal with the adjustment. Not a nickel out of my pocket, and I'm justifying this trip as like legitimate business. Hell yeah, I'll go for 4 days. That's the only person that would go. No one's spending their own money. No matter if they're rich or wealthy, no one goes to South Korea for 3 or 4 days. No one goes to Europe for 3 or 4 days. Like I said, just the travel time, like a whole day going, a whole day coming back. You're going to go for 3 or 4 days and 40% of your travel time is traveling, like on a plane and airports, not at the destination. Only 60% of the time or so is at the destination. Just doesn't make sense. No, you go on these types of trips, you stay in that place for at least a week, ideally 10 days to 2 weeks. And if I get back to Europe, it's been like 25 years, which is totally sinful. My brother has lived there for 35 years in London. No, I guarantee I'll be there at least a week, at least, probably 2. Because the travel is such a pain. Then once you get there, the jet lag adjustment is such a pain. Takes a few days to assimilate. So normal people don't do this. Some $100 million deal, on the line, or someone on a junket, a taxpayer finance trip. That's about it. Junket Cantrell attending a climate change expo in South Korea that benefits the city of New Orleans, the citizens of New Orleans, not in the least bit. Not a job created, not a dollar created, no benefit, zero for the city. But a nice taxpayer-financed vacation for the mayor, a.k.a. Junket Cantrell. What's that, Blue Boy? 5 o'clock power hours next. Folks shouldn't go anywhere. On radio, on TV, CoreyTalks.com, YouTube. Thanks, Blue Boy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Did you have any problem with Angel Reese? There was a photo of her coming off the bus, holding the phone with the...
And that was a bunch of bull. That was Photoshop, that young lady. That's social media for you. How dare somebody do that?
No, I was wondering if it was Photoshopped or if it was real.
You just got the real answer from somebody who was there.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Knight
Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man.
Shadowy flight.
Huh.
It's kind of a shadowy character, that David Hasselhoff. If you're interested in wrecking your life, go to YouTube and either check out a Knight Rider episode and Hasselhoff's acting, or Google David Hasselhoff, German rock and roll star. Not kidding. Yeah, you right. That's number 9, Mr. Drew Brees from La Jolla, California, with the intro. Thank you, Mr. Breeze. Corey Johnson back at you. It is the 5 o'clock power hour coming your way on a Tuesday afternoon. We're with you every weekday afternoon. 2 big hours, 4 to 6 o'clock on the radio. Starting weekday afternoons at 4. You can check us out. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. 93.9 FM. Cox Channel 4 television till 5:30. Spectrum Channel 333 television till 5:30. CoreyTalks.com live streaming. Corey spelled Kaare. CoreyTalks.com. Speaking of live streaming, we're on YouTube right now. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Go to YouTube. Go to the search bar. Put in Neutral Ground, Corey Johnson, Kaare. Corey spelled Kaare. You can check out the program live on YouTube. You can check out last hour, yesterday, last week, last month's program on YouTube. Last hour, that would be New Orleans City Councilman Joe Giarusso joining us, talking about finally, potential redevelopment of Old West End Park, which has been sitting dormant now for almost 20 years, almost a generation. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Other cities would cut off their arm. They do it. They cut off their arm. They dig a lake, a man-made lake or waterway or river. Oklahoma City has a river, San Antonio River. You could pole vault across it. It's a little canal. They embrace it in San Antonio. Here we wall it off and run from the water. We don't embrace it at all. It's ridiculous. Other places would cut off their left arm to have a Lake Pontchartrain, a Mississippi River. We have about, we're stagnant, about 1.2 million in the metro. Maybe 1,000 folks live on the lake or the river out of 1.2 million. There's something wrong with that. In Jefferson Parish, Kenner to be specific, a righteous move. They hired an outside company. What do we do with our riverfront? What do we do with our lakefront? Let's go outside the box. Let's hire a private company that does this for cities, municipalities around the world and find out what they suggest. They came back with just something so blatantly obvious. Hey, Kenner, Rivertown, why aren't people living on the water? Why aren't you living on the river, Batcher? Why aren't there condos and houses and apartments and folks living on the water in Kenner? That was like the number one observation. Like, my God, it's you have a road and a bridge and you don't put cars on it. You have food and you don't eat it. There's water there and you don't drink it. It's just like crazy. How do you not live on the water? That was one of the most obvious things. For over 60 years, Lincoln Beach closed.
for over 40 years. Can't make this stuff up. Pontchartrain Beach closed. WTF. West End Park closed for nearly 20 now. Let's go, New Orleans. These are assets. First off, it's sinful not utilizing the assets. Second, they're economic engines, each and every one of them, creating tax dollars, tax revenue for the city. Just broken New Orleans, man. We just look the other way. Lincoln Beach, almost 60 years. Pontchartrain Beach, more than 40. West End Park, almost 20. Huge, tremendous assets. And we run from them. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Hey, some of the stolen steel from the 504 golf site has been recovered at that Uptown Recycling Yard. Now, did the Uptown Recycling Yard folks call and say we've got the steel? Or did someone find out and, clue in the police? Because if it's the latter, maybe it's time to shut down Uptown Recycling for a while. Teach them a little bit of a lesson. I had a buddy of mine, and I helped him. This is like 30 years ago. We basically ran kind of like a small version of what I guess the bank does. You familiar with the bank on Felicity? It's an old architectural shop. Ricca's in Mid-City's another one. Old architecturals, manels, doors, and everything and anything you can think of out of old New Orleans houses that get picked apart before they're demolished. Hardwood floors, cypress, heart pine type stuff. All kind of things. Dormers, windows. I was doing this kind of business with a buddy of mine. It was his business. One day, these folks walk in with these huge green shutters, which of course we want to buy. Buy them for maybe $50, $100 a shutter and sell them for $250, $300 a shutter. These things are like 10, 12 feet tall. I had watched the news the night before. This is pre-intranet device even. So today there's no excuses. Sacred Heart on St. Charles Avenue had some shutters and other things stolen, vandalism to the school. Did we buy the shutters or did we call the police? We told the folks we can't buy the shutters. They're stolen. The guy's like, what are you talking about? Like, these are probably the ones that were stolen from Sacred Heart. No, they're not. Oh, how many other folks have 10, 12, 15-foot long green shutters, cypress, old? So you turn those folks in. You call the authorities. Did that Uptown Recycling on Claiborne's at MLK, essentially, right behind the Ray Nagin Home Depot, right off Earhart and Claiborne's, in between Earhart and MLK on Claiborne, did Uptown Recycling call the police themselves or did someone else? Because if someone else did and turned them in, they need to be shut down for knowingly taking stolen stuff. And if they didn't know it was stolen, they should have known. The quantity, the size of it. You got to inquire, where did this come from? Get IDs from folks that are doing this stuff. You can't just take it and hand over cash. It was always a seedy operation. It's in the hood and not New Orleans East for a reason. It almost encourages theft. Some of that steel from the 504 driving range that was stolen, not once over the weekend, twice. 18-wheeler with a forklift. Some of it found at Uptown Recycling, NOPD on the scene on Claiborne's, right where you get on the interstate by the Claiborne overpass, in between MLK and Earhart. Uptown Recycling Yard. Hey, the 5 o'clock powwow this afternoon brought to you by Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street. I mean, you're getting her a diamond necklace or a diamond tennis bracelet or diamond stud earrings, or even up another level, New Orleanians that know Friend and Company Fine Jewelers when it comes to engagement rings, wedding bands. You're getting her that lifetime diamond purchase, and it's for her, your significant other. The word significant other, the most important person in your life that you love more than anything, including yourself. Don't get her 3-week-old man-made, lab-created diamonds. Are you kidding me? What a mistake. Get her the real deal, real diamonds, natural diamonds, 1 billion years old, from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. So many fly-by-night operations, so many out-of-town jewelry stores, so many mega stores, diamond jewelers, diamond stores. 99% of what they sell, what they peddle, what they push on you for huge profits for them, 3-week-old man-made diamonds that are lab created. Besides an unlimited quantity, which leads to my second point, so they're not special, they're everywhere, the market's saturated with them, they depreciate in value. They immediately depreciate in value and go down in value fast. And that depreciation rate is only increasing with the influx. Real diamonds, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fading into summertime. Mid-May, late May already. Tuesday afternoon, 5 o'clock pow hour. Yeah, you right. Our Humane May fundraiser ends a week from tomorrow. My God, the month of May flew by. I mean, honestly, it seems like if you were asked, when did I start this fundraiser this month, I'd say about a week to 10 days ago. And it's more than double that. It's 3+ weeks ago. I'd say like a week and a half ago is the beginning of May. Just boom, 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 just days just flying by, weeks just flying by. 8 days left, a week from tomorrow, the end of May, the end of our annual fundraiser. We do it in the month of May every year. We try to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. And what do? They treat animals humanely. They get animals out of bad situations, animals that are with 30, 40 other animals, many of them deceased in the trailer or house, some hoarding problem, somebody that has issues and has their dogs chained up, their horses chained up, and they're emaciated, not being fed, on the brink of dying. Heartworms in dogs. I mean, that treatment's expensive. I can go on and on and on. All they do is save cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, goats and horses every day in Louisiana. We're bad at this. We don't treat animals humanely. We don't make it a priority. We kind of embarrass ourselves compared to the rest of the country. We're at the bottom of the list on this, and it's not a good list to be on, or the top of the bad list, the bottom of the good list. No, we have to do a better job treating animals humanely. That's what Jeff Dorson and the Humane Society of Louisiana do, and that's why every May I try to do my part. I have this microphone, this camera, this show, been at it for 30 years or so in my hometown. Try to use that in a good, positive way and make a difference for the Humane Society of Louisiana, which makes a difference for us, which makes a difference for the state of Louisiana, where we treat animals in a humane way. It's just a small goal, a $10,000 goal in the month of May. All of the proceeds, 100% of the money goes to the Humane Society of Louisiana. That's why we didn't link it to my show site or my website or any of that. You go to the Humane Society of Louisiana's website, humanela.org, humanela.org. All of the proceeds goes to those folks. Please go to the site right now. Use your debit, ATM, credit card. Donate $10, $50, $100. Do it right now. $10. humanela.org. Please go to the website and donate. Save an animal's life. humanela.org. 8 days left in the month. Our fundraiser ends a week from tomorrow. 75-80% of the month time-wise, done. History. We're only about 35% of our financial goal. We've reached about 35% of our financial goal, so we're way behind. humanela.org. Please go donate. humanela.org. Uptown Recycling on Claiborne, in between MLK and Earhart, the big recycling yard by the Home Depot.
a large police presence. Some of that steel stolen from the 504 potential driving range entertainment complex popping up right there. I mean, what is that, about a mile away? Convenient. Not once, but twice. I think one was a large flatbed truck. Then these guys come back the second day with an 18-wheeler flatbed truck and a forklift. The numbers, I don't know what steel costs. I know it's not cheap. I'm not trying to diminish it. The $300,000 in material number, I don't know how realistic that is, but it's definitely tens of thousands of dollars in steel that was stolen. Maybe it is north of $100,000. Maybe it is $300,000. I'm a little skeptical, whatever that's worth, but it has value. They were going to use it. Large beams and panels, plates. Some of it showing up at Uptown Recycling. Now, the big question, besides the thieves and getting the steel back to the 504 driving range entertainment complex, folks, did Uptown Recycling see the steel and call the police? Or did someone else see the steel roll into the Uptown Recycling yard and they called the police? Because Uptown Recycling can't just play the, hey, man, someone brought in the steel. I haven't been watching the news, didn't know it was stolen, was just buying the steel. You got to get driver's licenses, IDs, inquire, where did this come from? How did you acquire this steel? Is it yours? I worked with a buddy of mine. We worked at a place that was like the bank, like Ricka's, an architectural salvage type place, like Carrollton Wrecking used to be on Earhart, Mantles and Cypress doors, Heart Pine flooring, windows, dormers, all kind of beaded board, Heart Pine, Cypress, just about anything architecturally significant from an old house that's getting torn down. You can, dip it, get the paint off, keep it like it is, let them sand it or dip it and clean it. And it's got value, obviously, these architecturals. One day, these guys come rolling in, and a lot of folks come rolling in with like grocery carts of stuff. A lot of it's stolen. Got to be careful. You're breaking the law if you buy stolen stuff, and you can't just act dumb. Act dumb, buy stolen stuff. You get away with acting dumb, which is a long shot. They're repossessing the stolen stuff anyway. You're going to be losing your money. These guys show up with these like 10, 12, 15-foot green cypress shutters. Sacred Heart had a theft the night before of 10, 12, 15-foot green cypress shutters. We knew they came from Sacred Heart. We did not buy them. We did the opposite. We called the police. So I want to know if Uptown Recycling saw the steel, knows the story, suspected it was stolen, called the police, or did someone else do it? Because if Uptown Recycling was buying this steel and not questioning where it came from, thinking, oh, wow, we're just buying the steel. We didn't know it was stolen. They need to be shut down for a while. They need to be fined. They need to be ticketed. They need to be, closed for a little while, learn their lesson. I want to know that. I'm not saying they're guilty. I just want to know, did they turn in the folks? Did they call the police when they saw the steel roll in? Or did someone else see it from outside the yard and call the police? Because if that's the case, shame on Uptown Recycling. But some good news, and I was saying, how can an 18-wheeler with a forklift go into a yard and they're cameras? And then just using street cameras for crime, NOPD cameras on the street, and follow the trucks, where they went, where they go. Some of that steel showing up at Uptown Recycling on Claiborne in between MLK and Earhart. A large NOPD presence there. That's a good thing. I want to see criminals caught. I want to see brazen criminals prosecuted, put in jail. I want to see the steel returned to those guys and quit the excuse making. You get your driving range entertainment complex built. Let's go. Get the needle moving. Reportedly, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will go on Twitter tomorrow at 5 and announce he's running for president. Junket Cantrell in South Korea. No, you can't make this stuff up. Helm paint and decorating. It's hot, but a perfect day to paint today. 7 Helm paint and decorating locations, 7 in the metro area, plus free 2-hour delivery so you can keep working. Pick your Benjamin Moore colors online. Get everything delivered to your site. Helm paint and decorating. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, New Orleanians that know Helm paint and decorating, that goes in the old no-brainer category. Helm paint and decorating. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Hey, TV audience, mañana. Radio audience, oh so fine. 93.9 FM, 93.9 FM. You folks checking us out via live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled K-A-A-R-E, live streaming at CoreyTalks.com. Or you folks checking us out on YouTube. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. We're trying to grow it in 2023. It's a few months old. You can click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Go to YouTube. Click on the search bar. Put in Neutral Ground Corey Johnson and click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send the link to friends and family if you like what we're doing every day on the radio, on television, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. And yes, on YouTube. Corey Johnson Neutral Ground every single day. Yeah, you right. 2 big hours, 4 to 6 o'clock every weekday. 90 minutes of fun. The first hour and a half of the 2-hour radio program on TV. So yeah, you Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333, folks. We will see you mañana. I guess it was about 6-8 weeks ago, late March. I said, the mayor has been to Miami, she's been to LA, she's been to New York in the last 6 weeks. All national junkets, tens of thousands of dollars, total waste of money, taxpayer finance vacation for the mayor. Not a single dollar or job brought back to the city. None, zero. Mayor doesn't even fake it and pretend and make up stuff, just doesn't even mention that. I said, Miami, LA, New York, the mayor's going to have an itch to scratch, and that's going to be
our Humane May fundraiser
junket.
Is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. The itch is being scratched. I mentioned it about 6 or 8 weeks ago. I got into specifics. This national travel, not going to satisfy the mayor. She will be going on an international trip soon. I think it'll be outside of the Western Hemisphere. I mentioned Europe, but then I said, I don't think Europe. I'm thinking more something exotic like Middle East or Asia. And then I even said just the sheer number of destinations, accessibility, exotic. I think Asia might be more of a destination possibility than the Middle East for this mayor. And that is exactly what went down. The only prediction part that I was wrong on, I said this in late March, this will all go down, I was like, in the next 4 or 5 weeks, before the end of April. So, I don't know, maybe I wasn't thinking about French Quarter Fest and Jazz Fest and things of that nature. Maybe that's what kept the mayor in town. Whatever. But I was 3 weeks off. I was right about an international junket. I was right about Asia. Mayor Cantrell attending a climate change expo in South Korea. I mentioned this last hour. No one anywhere on planet Earth travels where the travel takes like a day and jet lag is involved. You don't go to Europe or Asia or the Middle East for 3 or 4 days. Anyone who travels, especially on their own dime, they're spending like a week there. Ideally 10 days or 2 weeks, because the travel time is like a day. You lose a day traveling. When you land in the destination, it takes you a few days to get acclimated. You're wide awake at 3 a.m. You're sleeping at 3 p.m. Jet lag takes a while to kind of fade into that you're, on the time of where you are, your destination in Europe and Asia. The only people there are 2 types of people that go on these types of trips, like Amsterdam, and spend $18,600 for first-class air travel, $18,600, and go for 3 days, where of the 3 days, the travel is a day and a half or 2. 40-50% of your trip is traveling in airport, and the other parts 2 or 3 days in Amsterdam in Europe. dealing with jet lag and then flying right back. No, two people do this. Folks that have like multi-million-dollar deals on the line. Jimmy, book a plane, get to Paris tomorrow, get to Tokyo tomorrow, come back the next day. I don't care what it costs. We got $400 million on the line. Something like that. A sense of urgency. Or an elected official on a taxpayer-financed vacation known as a junket. And for the mayor, it's obviously the latter. Another junket, another trip where not a single dollar, not a single job is created for the city of New Orleans, for the citizens. The only beneficiary to these junkets, the mayor, a taxpayer-financed vacation. The mayor's going to South Korea. Left today, coming back Sunday. She'll spend 3 days in South Korea. No one anywhere but a politician on a junket does that type of trip. It's going to take her all 24 hours to get there, 24 hours to get back, and you're going to spend 72 hours in South Korea? Absolutely makes no sense. The Climate Change Expo, all this could be done on Zoom. I'm sure the mayor could avoid it entirely, and it affects her and the citizens not in the least bit. It's irrelevant. But the mayor sees another opportunity, this entitlement mentality. You know, I got a couple of years left as mayor, and then my life's going to change dramatically, especially my lifestyle. I don't know what I'm going to do for income, much less think I'm going to have a large disposable amount of income and I can keep up these junkets. So no, the mayor's like, I'm going to do it. I'm brazen. I have an entitlement mentality. I don't care. Honor, pride, integrity aren't really in my wheelhouse or aren't really a concern of mine. I don't care what the citizens, black, white, old, young, Democrat, Republican in the city of New Orleans think. I'm going to get what's mine. I'm going to take what I can. And I'll never have this experience again. And I'm going to South Korea. She probably has some folks on her staff that all they do, probably a couple of people, churn up where we're going next. Probably has two people doing it. She tells one of them, all right, you and the other person, we're going to rotate you two. Y'all are always going to be coming with me on these junkets. And a couple of other people from our staff. Tens of thousands of dollars, taxpayer money spent, millions of dollars over her 2 terms as mayor, and not a single dollar, not a single job. You think one job could be created, $1, some trade agreement, something that the citizens profit. Not one, not a single instance. No, that's why her nickname is Junket Cantrell. And that's why she's going to South Korea on the city's dime, and the city doesn't benefit. Only the mayor does. Everyone knows that. Everyone, including the mayor. 504 Golf Driving Range Entertainment Complex at the old Times-Picayune site. What is that? Howard Avenue, Pontchartrain Expressway at Broad Street. Some steel stolen over a 2-day period over the weekend. Brazen theft. Brazen, like the mayor going to South Korea on these junkets. 18-wheeler with a forklift pulls up and loads up this steel and steals it. Some of it, at least some of it, showing up at Uptown Recycling this afternoon on Claiborne in between MLK and Earhart. A large NOPD presence at Uptown Recycling on Claiborne in between MLK and Earhart. Some of that 504 driving range, sports bar, restaurant, entertainment complex steel showing up at Uptown Recycling. No, these brazen criminals, huh? Driving the truck, the forklift, obviously have wherewithal. Obviously have some wherewithal, unless they stole the 18-wheeler and the forklift too. Who knows? We got carjackings in New Orleans where carjackers have taken an ambulance from a hospital not once but twice. An RTA bus from the East Bank to the West Bank. You can't make this stuff up. Carjackings with kids in the car, carjacking with dogs in the car, carjacking with grandma strapped into the passenger seat, carjacking where grandma gets thrown out the car, still hooked in by the seatbelt, and gets dragged to her death. Linda Fricky case. No, anything is believable. The thieves stealing the 18-wheeler and the forklift to go steal the steel from the driving range site and then bringing it to Uptown Recycling. Like, what is that, about a mile and a half away? Convenience. Reportedly, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will go on Twitter tomorrow at 5. It's going to be during a Q&A session with Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter. In less than 24 hours, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida expected to announce his run for president of the United States. First things first, got to get that Republican nomination over Donald Trump, who is kicking your butt and taking names in all these Republican polls. Double digits, 20, 25, 35% lead over DeSantis. So you got to secure the Republican nomination, then you got to beat Joe Biden. I think DeSantis beats Joe Biden in many polls, if not all polls, maybe all polls. And Biden beats Donald Trump in just about all polls. Because Donald Trump, it's sort of folks voting against him that leads to a Biden victory. People weren't voting for Joe Biden. I'm so excited to go to the polls, motivated to vote for Joe Biden, really see some great leadership there, looking forward to that regime. People are like, motivated to go to the polls. This Donald Trump guy disgusts me. Can't get off Twitter. The ego, the narcissism can't stop. It's caustic. It's relentless. It never ends. I'm going to vote against him. For Joe Blow, Joe Biden, John Doe, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Hey, Latrum's with you. The global manufacturing giant. We are deep into the new year, almost halfway done with 2023. New Year's resolutions, we're way past that. Just think about you, your job, your career. Are you happy about it? Would you like to make a change? Would you like to work for a real company, a great company, been around for 70 plus years, thousands of employees around the world, a worldwide leader at what they do? Latrum's that company. The great thing is they're hiring. Another great thing is it's not 2 or 3 job openings on their website. It's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings, a job for you, a career for you at Latrum. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrum.com. Latrum spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrum.com. L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrum.com for a full listing of positions available. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Our Humane May fundraiser continues. Let's save some animals. Let's save some cats and dogs. Go online, humanela.org to donate. Do it right now, humanela.org. Please donate.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now.
There it is.
In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
You know, body language tells you a lot about what a person's thinking. For instance, that means she has an interest in the finer things in life.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
That means she also wants a little fun in her life, but only with the right man.
Corey Johnson.
Now she's pouring a Colt 45, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, you right.
Mind if I join you?
You must have read my mind.
Something like that.
The power of Colt 45. It works every time.
It literally does work every time. I admit I've been desperate for the ladies on occasion. I will just pull into a local grocery store, go right up to the beer case, pull out a Colt 45, pop it open in the store, pour the Colt 45 brand malt liquor over my head. The next thing I know, it's a few hours later, and I wake up at some apartment, and there are about 4 or 5 different ladies scantily dressed, just hovering around me. And something just went down, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I realize my last thought was that Colt 45 coming over my head and rushing down my body. And obviously it works every time. The women love it. It is a women magnet. It's called Colt 45 brand malt liquor. This segment of the program, most definitely not brought to you by Colt 45 brand malt liquor. It works every time. It is brought to you, this segment, by Young's Dry Cleaning, by the way.
a New Orleans institution since 1940. If you're tired of your dry cleaner, want to experience the best in New Orleans, youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com. Our Humane May fundraiser continues. May ends a week from tomorrow. 8 days left. Let's go, New Orleans, metro area, Gulf South. Step up. HumaneLA.org is the website. That's where you can donate. HumaneLA.org. Hard to believe? Of course it's not hard to believe. Junket Cantrell attending a climate change expo in, get this, South Korea. Boy, the junkets that this mayor has been on, the trips this mayor has taken, just first class flights, first class hotels, first class destinations, and doing it in a way that even rich and wealthy people don't do it. Rich and wealthy people don't fly halfway around the world, spend a day traveling, and spend 2 or 3 days in a destination. They know jet lag's going to take a few days to get acclimated. They want to enjoy the destination. You're staying there at least a week, ideally 10 days to 2 weeks. Rich and wealthy folks, much less folks like you and me. You know, our dollar's on the line. We earn that money. It's a lot of folks paycheck to paycheck. You're planning for a big trip to South Korea. You ain't going for 3 days. But when the city pays for it, when it's taxpayer finance, when by definition it's a junket, then Junket Cantrell is going to pounce on it. And that's exactly what Junket Cantrell did. Flying to South Korea today, comes back this weekend. Just crazy. What, you going to Orange Beach? Heading to the Panhandle of Florida? Coming back this weekend? No, South Korea. A day of travel getting there, a day of traveling coming back. Like, 48 hours, 50 hours of travel, 72 hours in South Korea. Just makes no sense. Unless you have an entitlement mentality, you're greedy, and you have to take advantage of this 15 minutes of fame because you know as well as anyone, after this mayor's gig is up, it's going to be downhill as far as income, lifestyle, these types of, first-class trips. Mayor's got to take advantage of it. So South Korea is the spot. The 504 driving range and entertainment complex, folks, that claim they had $300,000 in steel girders and beams and plates stolen over the weekend. The steel was stolen. You can watch the video. Brazen theft. It happened over 2 days. One day they pull up in an 18-wheeler with a forklift and load up the flatbed part of the 18-wheeler with these steel beams and panels. I don't think it's $300,000 in theft. Even so, that would be about 1% of the total cost of the project. So the developer's pouncing on, this is going to slow us down big time. I think that's a little overzealous. If it's 1% of the total project cost, seems like you could do a bunch of other stuff and wait for the steel to re-arrive. Some good news, they might get their steel back. Some of the steel apparently found at Uptown Recycling on Claiborne in between MLK and Earhart. Travers Mackle, Channel 6 breaking that story. Cassie Sherm and that crew, the investigative folks from Channel 6. A huge NOPD presence at Uptown Recycling on Claiborne in between MLK and Earhart by the Home Depot. So these brazen thieves showing up at Uptown Recycling trying to sell the steel they stole. A key part of this, did another crime go down? Did Uptown Recycling call the NOPD when this steel came in, or did an outsider outside of the facility watching it happen from Claiborne Avenue see that steel, put one and one together with the 504 driving range steel theft over the weekend and call NOPD? Because if it's the latter and not the former, then Uptown Recycling is committing a crime by buying stolen materials. I mean, there's a reason they're on Claiborne in Central City and not out in New Orleans East. So Uptown Recycling, I'm not saying they're guilty of anything. If they called the police, they're guilty of nothing. They totally did the right thing. Hey, 911, Uptown Recycling here, stolen items coming in. But if someone else called the police and Uptown Recycling was buying the steel, shame on them, and another crime may have taken place. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, you right. Yeah, I had a po' boy today for lunch, shrimp po' boy, Leidenheimer French bread, served at the finest restaurants, po' boy sandwiches. It is New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. What's that, Blue Boy? Thank everyone that was listening and watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Wide Open Wednesday,
You're
4
on the
p.m.
neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.